I'm just going to take all the spiritual mysteries off the table. Creation, the flood, the Exodus, the virgin birth of Christ, the miracles of Christ, the resurrection. And though I'm 100% sure they're true, I'm not here to convince anyone that these things are real. I just want to unpack a question that points to why I'm convinced that Christianity is the only way. And the question is, why did the apostles and followers of Jesus live and die the way they did if Christianity wasn't real? I find it extremely significant. I mean, to me, this is some of the most glaring evidence for Christianity, and not many speak about it. First, let me tell you how some of the early apostles and followers of Jesus lived for him. I think we all can agree that from birth, humans are self-preserving, self-enhancing, self-exalting, self-esteeming, and self-advancing. You see the root? From the womb, we were born selfish. We live for self. I mean, look around you. It's very evident. And this was the same for early followers of Jesus. But from the time they witnessed the risen Jesus and spent time with him, something in them radically changed. They went from selfish to selfless. Why? Well, because it was Jesus who taught and commanded, if anyone wants to follow after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. It would be these followers of Christ that would take these words serious and actually live them out. It would be these followers of Christ that were quoted saying the following statements: I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. Or this one: Jesus must increase and I must decrease. And then there's this one: do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. And how about this? For the sake of Christ, then, I am content with weaknesses, with insults, with hardships, with persecutions and calamities. For when I'm weak, then I'm strong. How about this? Let each of you look not only to his own interest, but to the interest of others. How about this one? Bear one another's burdens. And then lastly, to live is Christ, to die is gain. I mean, friends, who talks like this? Right, only people who had seen and interacted with the risen Jesus. Those that received the mission from Jesus the day he ascended to heaven went on to completely live countercultural. They left their old lives behind. They gave up the pursuit of career and status and money and fame and popularity and recognition, and they lived anonymous lives. They lived modestly and humbly. They were ostracized and shut out from everything that even mattered. For some, this even included family. They were literal aliens to everything in culture, and because of this, they lived with targets on their backs. I mean, they literally chose to walk the road less traveled that was hard and lonely and dangerous. I mean, to choose this life isn't even human. Next, let me tell you how some of the early apostles and followers of Jesus died for him. James was beheaded. Matthew was killed by a sword wound. James, the brother of Jesus, was thrown from the pinnacle of the temple where he survived and then was beat to death as he prayed for his attackers. Nathanael was flayed to death by a whip. Andrew was crucified on an X-shaped cross. Andrew saluted it in these words: I have long desired and expected this happy hour. The cross has been consecrated by the body of Christ hanging on it. And get this, Andrew continued to preach to his tormentors for 2 days until he died. Thomas was stabbed with a spear. Matthias was stoned and then beheaded. Peter was crucified upside down. Paul was tortured and then beheaded. Very simply, how the followers of Jesus lived and died after they saw Christ alive after his crucifixion explains so much. I mean, did Jesus rise from death? Absolutely yes. But I'd rather not try and spend my time convincing you of that and just point to the lives of the early followers. I mean, let this sink in for a moment and then ask yourself, why would they live and die like this if Christianity was a hoax? They wouldn't. They lived and died for the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, Jesus Christ, who alone is worthy. And they did this because they witnessed it all and lived to tell us about it. So what do we do with this evidence?